Oh, and we are back once again on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening. Welcome, everybody. My name is Dale. I am your host of Seeking Vibes. And today we have a spectacular guest, and I can't wait to talk to this guy. We've been friends for a little while now, and I got to know him. And yeah, when I started this show, he was definitely one of those guys that, I love watching him go through his journey and getting to know what he's doing and what he's up to. But like every other show, guys, we are here to talk about our personal, our mental health, what we're going through every single day. It is a battle for some of us to even get out of bed most days, as it is for myself. But you know what? Here I am. I am doing it. I am doing what I love to do, and that's just talk about what inspires us and what brings us here today. So, every show I like to start out, I say that when your days are good, you enjoy the music, but when you're having a bad day, you understand the lyrics. So, I each and every show I like to go through and songs that inspire me, and there's been a song that has inspired me for decades and decades now. Like it's one of those songs that really has a lot of meaning, and it's from one of the Rocky movies. It's by I can't even think of the band right now. But I was thinking about my guest today and how this song kind of reminds me of my guest today. So I'm just gonna read not the whole song. I'm just gonna read just a little bit of the lyrics, just stuff that inspires me a part of the song. It says, "In the warrior code, there's no surrender. Through his body says, though his body says stop, his spirit cries never. Deep in our souls, a quiet ember, known it's you against you. It's the paradox that drives us all. It's a battle of wills. It's in the heat of the attack. It's the passion that kills. It's the victory is ours alone in the burning hearts just about to burst. There's a quest for the answers and an unquenchable thirst. In the darkness of nights, rise like a spire. In the burning hearts, it's the unmistakable fire. And folks, when you are out there, you're struggling and you feel like everything is against you and you just want to give up, you just want to say, screw it, you can't because you have to keep pushing because it is only one day out of your life. It's only one moment. It's only 1 second. So I'm sure all you have to do is just think of the brighter things. Always think of what is really truly going on in your life that you can feel so blessed about. And I'll tell you, and it's a song like that. Like I said, it's one of those songs that I've been listening to for decades, and every time I hear it, it always seems to come on just when I really need to hear that. And there's no more true than my guest that is coming up right now. Everybody might know him from his paranormal podcast, the Cryptic Paranormal Show. And right now, I'd like to bring out my good man, my good buddy, my brother. Everybody, welcome the Gooz.
Hey, what's happening? Good
Oh,
seeing you, buddy.
Gooz, it's so good to see you, brother. How you been doing?
Been pretty busy. Just holidays are just right around the corner. I mean, Thanksgiving's this weekend, and you know, just been busy. You know, struggle is real too. We talk about it all the time. Especially
Yeah.
this time of year. Especially this time of year. I mean, just get real right away. Like when I really first started noticing that there was something more to my depression and stuff was when my mom passed away. And she passed away in 2018. Um, her her death anniversary was last week, so I've been kind of down thinking about her and missing her. But she would have wanted me to be this way, and I know that. You want to be celebrating life and having a good Thanksgiving, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you know, for me, for somebody who lost my father back in 2005,
Yeah,
I mean, we're like 2025 is going to be his 20-year anniversary. And everybody always says, it gets easier as time goes on, but I don't think it ever has for me. I've just learned how to cope
yeah,
with the loss.
yeah.
With somebody when you're so close to them, anyways. So I
Hmm.
can truly understand the loss of how you feel and what you've been going through. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I know they're on the other side, but they're sure smiling down on us,
Oh
enjoying
yes.
everything that we're doing and chuckling every time we make our little stupid mistakes.
Oh, I know. I could hear her calling me a pig, and just we had an interesting relationship. I picked on her
Mm,
relentlessly all the time, and
right.
she loved the attention. She didn't care. She took it like a champ, and she would just call me names and tell me to shut up, and this is where I got it from.
I was gonna say, was that the birth of the shut up? Because
Oh, I heard it so much when I was a kid. So yeah,
when you're a true friend of the Goose is when you get a text message or a message from them on Facebook or whatever else, and all it says is "shut up."
right.
You
I would say
kind
I
of,
love
you
you.
just kind of, most people would be like, "What?" But when it comes from Goose,
Yeah.
it's from the heart, and he loves you because it's him, and it's one of the true aspects that I truly love about you and knowing the human that you are. And I mean, this is what this is about today. I mean, we're stripping away the Goose. We're stripping away the Cryptic Paranormal Show. We are getting
Yeah.
down to Ray, like the guy, the gentleman, the gentle guy, the gentle giant. Like I said, I mean, I first met you. It's got to be going back probably the year before we started the Paranormal Voice. Was
Hmm.
I think was when I met you. It was at. I mean, I seen you at different events, like
Yeah.
at Parapsychon was mostly,
Right. Yeah.
and at the old mill.
Hmm.
But I've always seen you, and at first I was always intimidated to talk to you because for one, I'm not. I see. I'm the complete opposite of my co-host Michael John,
Yeah.
who could strike up a conversation with anybody anywhere in the world and it doesn't matter what's going on. He's just like, I'm the total opposite. I'm the guy that'll be like, it takes me real encouragement to start to talk to people
Yeah.
because I, I
No, I get it.
it's just one of those, it's who I am. I'm truly not as outgoing as Michael John, and this is why I think we work so well together. We're yin and
Yeah.
yang for sure.
I gotcha.
Um, but yeah, no, and I remember the first time I talked to you, I got over that fear, and it was like your energy and your vibe and your personality was like, wow, this guy's truly awesome. What the hell was your
Thanks.
problem not talking to this guy?
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's weird. It's funny to hear that when people say that. I'm like, really? Me? Come on. It'll be the first time I meet you. I'll tell you to shut up and give you a hug, and we're best friends for.
So you started out. You talked a little bit about your depression and your
Mhm.
struggles. Now, I mean, did it start when your mother passed, or or were you kind of always like kind of that person that was in the background? Like me, I was always the weird kid that nobody talked about or hung around with.
Yeah.
until I met Michael John in the 5th grade, and then I can't get rid of the guy now. I mean,
Right. Right. No, I mean, it started, I mean, after kind of like, I guess when my mom passed away is the first time I really kind of sought like professional help because it
right,
was pretty bad. But I mean, during that help, I realized that this has been a lifelong issue. I mean, I've had esteem issues since I was a little kid, like little, because I was always heavy set. I mean, I was always the funny fat kid. Um, and and I hid behind my humor. I thought everything was cool, but there were times like I didn't have a lot of girlfriends in high school or anything. It's not because I didn't want them, but it's just
right,
So I don't know. I just kind of felt like if I was a useless person if I wasn't being funny all the time. Like I just that was the only thing that and like I was into music really deep into high school, and so if I wasn't performing with the band or choir or being funny around people, I really felt pretty much useless.
right,
Um, and that kind of got all stripped away because after high school, the real world comes to you. And I went to a semester of college for music, and then I just kind of quit because it wasn't practical. It wasn't something I realized putting all that work into just doing something I love to do wasn't really worth it, and I knew I wasn't going to be making a whole lot of money with it, and then just that kind of got me for a while, and it just life rolls on, and it's just you don't really realize how deep you are in it
right,
until you're too far down. Um,
right,
it was years and years later. I'm barely affording a, an efficiency apartment. I'm struggling with addiction because I was having problems with pain medication and alcohol, and I had to hit bottom before I realized that I needed to make some changes, and that didn't come quick.
right,
I was able to battle. I did things by myself, and that wasn't the best way to do things. I mean, I kept it bottled in, but I backed off on drinking. I stopped taking the pills. But it didn't really feel like anything was getting better. Like, I mean, I went through a lot of physical shit because of that. My body, I abused the hell out of my body. I was always heavy set, but I was just like it's like I replaced the drugs and the alcohol with food. Um,
right,
so I gained a bunch more weight, and I just wasn't doing. I mean, I was just basically just living day to day, and then bad relationships, failed relationships, just cut me down. I just just a snowball of just going
right.
downhill, man. Just that, except it's not beautiful white snow. It's that dark, gross stuff at the end of the winter that you hate, and it's just disgusting, and it's not fun to look at.
Right.
And then I finally met a woman that understood understood me and was willing to deal with me as I dealt with myself. And and this years later, I now I have a wife and my daughter. Both daughters. I got a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I was like, you know what? I need to be here for them. I got to be here for them. Um,
Right.
so that meant not just fixing the physical stuff. That meant fixing my mental problems. And because I'm no good to them if I can't take care of myself.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and they both being a kid is hard these days, man. I don't know if I don't know if it's any harder than it was when we were just a different way.
Right. Yeah.
They were both products of COVID shutdowns. So like most kids, they don't have the same social skills we did. They weren't forced to be in front of other people as much as
Right.
we were.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just, but yeah, like it wasn't until my mom passed away in 2018 that I really like I got to get this fixed, and
Right.
that means going to a therapist when I need to go to a therapist,
Yeah.
being open and honest, like we were talking about, because
Yep.
you bought this shit in, it weighs you down, and next thing you
Uh,
know, you're drowning at the bottom of the lake.
yeah, and no, that you're so on about that, about being having to open up was the scariest part of my life because I mean I was always told to believe like I don't matter. My thoughts don't matter. Nobody cares about me. And I mean, for most of my life, I was a people pleaser. I would do anything. I was the most miserable guy in the world.
Hmm.
But as long as everybody else around me was happy, that's all that mattered to me. And I mean, it was a crazy roller coaster. I mean, but yeah, I can totally get how you. I mean, for you, I mean, what truly can you pinpoint your eureka moment to say, okay, enough is enough. I've got to break these cycles. I got to break the
Hmm.
chains. I can't let I can't let this run my life anymore. What was?
Yeah.
I mean, can you really pinpoint that eureka moment? Because I can.
I mean, I knew I was not doing well for a long time, but I think, but like you said, that moment, that big aha moment was, like I said, right after my mom passed away, and I had started smoking again. I wasn't being a good father, and I wasn't being a great husband. Um, Smoking cigarettes behind my family's back, and that's kind of like, I noticed that, and I started going to therapy, and I started seeing some of what I'm going through being reflected in my kids, and it was like, man, I can't be a father if I don't lead by example, and like make sure that I'm healthy in all ways, physical, emotional,
Right.
mental. And I honestly, if I didn't think that way, I probably would still be in pretty bad shape. Um,
Right.
I mean, there were moments where I was ready to end it. I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
had those. I mean, knife in hand, or
Yeah.
whatever, handful of pills, whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a couple times. Um, but I don't know. The gods had different plans, I guess, for me that day, and scared me out of it. Thank God. but but yeah, I mean, I definitely had those moments, but they were kind of fleeting. Like,
Yeah.
and I just that was part of growing up, I guess. I don't know. It was weird, but
Yeah.
it was
Now,
definitely
now,
after.
now, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but so the moments that were the darkest. Now, was this after your mother passed away? Was
I don't
that
think
your
that was the darkest. It was definitely the most, like I said, the biggest aha moment where I have to get this taken care of.
okay? Okay.
I have to get this. I mean, I got it. I need professional help.
Right. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just I could do this myself. I need to. I just internalize it, and I'll just move on with my life.
Right.
I mean, the darkest moments obviously were the ones were like super dark, where like when I
Right.
was ready to just be done and just say
Right. Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, that was so kind of two different things. But yeah,
Yeah, well, because I mean, this is where our lives are like so parallel with each other. Listening to you talk, it's like I'm listening to my own story read out in a
yeah,
book. I mean, I kind of always suffered from mental illness, but I never talked about it because, for one, I never knew what it was because
hmm,
back in the day, we were men. We weren't no supposed to talk about our feelings. We're
yep,
supposed to just chisel through life and
yeah,
not worry about shit.
yeah,
Let the women be emotional.
right,
But and I mean, I was always that. Like I said, when I said I was a weird kid, everybody was like, "Yeah, no, Dale's weird because Dale breaks down crying when he sees something bad happen."
yeah,
Or Dale never. But ta- you know, um, I mean, I had one suicide attempt before my father ever passed away,
hmm,
um, and then I had two more after he passed. Um,
um,
but like I said, listening to your story is like, wow. These are the moments I love, and I thank you so
yeah,
much for being open and honest because these are the moments to know we are truly not alone. Like
yep,
people, yeah, sure. Every day I think, who in the hell suffers through this shit like I do? Like, there's nobody, but my God,
right,
here I'm talking to him right now. A guy
yeah,
that's just as messed up in the brain as I am. But you know what?
yeah,
Um, I went through the doctors and the pills and shit like that, and I
yeah,
think my real aha moment is when I stopped. I really realized when I could not deal with taking pills and talking to a doctor. And I wasn't getting ahead of my life. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah,
Something just says, there's a deeper root, and you have to figure it out. Yeah,
right,
yeah, you have to dig deep into your soul and be honest with yourself.
right,
You have to be, and that's the hard part is being honest about yourself, because
right.
yeah, you want to think you're awesome. You're like Batman. You're cool. You're awesome. You're all
Right,
these really magnificent things, but you got to realize, you know what? It's like it's not all sunshines and rainbows in everybody's life as much as we want it to be.
right.
Um, so yeah, with you opening up today, like I said, I truly appreciate you being as raw as Ray can be. And
Yeah, I
this
mean,
is
that's one.
this is the love that we need to shed out in the world and show people you're a guy, you have mental illness, talk
Yeah,
about it, reach out to somebody.
yeah,
You just don't have to hide behind an office door talking to a therapist about this.
right.
There's other people out here who will listen, and for
Hmm.
people who don't get it, I kind of feel bad for them in a way, because that just shows that their compassion level is very low in this world.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
so
There's
you're
definitely like
doing
a.
well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing better. It's still life is still. I mean, I still have my down moments. I mean, I started. If you guys don't follow Reinventing Goose, and I haven't really posted there just because I really haven't had time for social media lately. But
Right,
I have a page that kind of follows all aspects of my, I don't know, reinvention. I call it
right,
Reinventing Goose. I'm the same guy, but I'm just trying to improve in the areas where I feel like I need to improve my life, like just the way I live, and not because I'm living bad, just because I'm not be fulfilling my potential.
right,
Um, both mentally and physically. And I'm very transparent on that page. If I have a downtime, like I haven't been to the gym for, like you said, like even like you, about 2 months.
yeah.
Because going back to my body status, I was 442 pounds. I'm down to 211. Um,
Dude,
but
you weigh lighter than I am now. Wow.
um, But with that, I abused the hell out of my body, and just because
Right,
I lost 200 and some pounds does not mean that I'm feeling 100%.
right,
I, I, I ruined my knees. My joints
right,
are shot.
right,
Now my shoulders are starting to go. So like when I was going to the gym, I was coming out. I felt great, but then I started hurting, and I
right,
started hurting while I was working out, and
right,
I was worried if I continued without some guidance from like physical therapy, which I started this week.
right,
And just I got to work my way back into it slowly. But I've been doing like you were talking about earlier. I try to get out and walk when I can, like even if it's just
right.
during my lunch break. I'll pull into a park and I'll do a short trail real quick.
Yeah,
um
yeah, no. I
you know
mean, something is better than nothing. And I
oh
mean,
yeah, absolutely.
just because you don't go to the gym, but you go out for a walk for a half an
Yeah,
hour or 20 minutes, whatever, or even
right.
an hour if you can fit that in,
Yeah.
it's something. You're moving, you're getting your
Hmm.
body, you're getting some type of exercise. I mean, I work a job where I take 10,000 steps just doing my job.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, so it's like, and then usually I come home and then I was going for like another 3 mile walk. And
That's
I mean,
awesome, dude.
but but that's, I mean, and I listen to like the Franks and the Tims and the Michael Johns
Yeah,
who are very dedicated to going to the gym, and I love those guys, and I'm
yeah,
glad that they can do that. Like, yeah, the winter times here, I'm gonna get back to the gym a little bit more often now because
right.
I don't like the cold. It's funny, I'm an October baby and I hate the cold
Yeah.
weather. Figure that one out. So yeah, I gotta
And
get
you live
back
in
into the,
Canada. What's your
and I
problem,
live,
man?
yeah, I gotta get the dog sleds out and the igloo all set up to go.
Yep.
uh, but no, like I said, like but I always love walking and I love nature.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I take advantage of that. Like, I was a scout leader for 5 years,
Oh
and
wow.
I
Okay.
love going camping. I love taking my
Yes.
scouts out on a hike. And,
Yeah.
to me, scouting was the bomb because I
Yeah.
got to do all the things I love to do and to
Hmm.
be outside 90% of the time. So it
Yeah.
was so, like I said, it's good, but you're doing something, and that's all
Hmm.
that matters.
Yeah.
Going to the gym, it's great, great. But
Right.
like you said, your body's hurting, so you're a little bit concerned. And I mean, that's what we
Right.
have to do. We have to listen to our bodies because our
Hmm.
bodies tell us
Yeah.
more than what any doctor can ever tell you.
Right.
So
Yeah. And
I
I've
want to
told.
ask you the most important question: and the
Yeah.
decision for you to go and get the surgery to
Hmm.
finally lose the weight. Like,
Yeah.
what I mean, it had what was the lead up point to say, okay, this is what I got to do, and to make that big decision because it is a big decision. It's not an easy one to
Yeah.
make.
No. No. And I've actually had people say, "Oh, you took the easy way out." I'm like, you don't even fucking know. You don't
Right.
understand. Excuse my language, but you don't. You don't know.
No. No.
This is a huge. This is a total life change, like instantly. It's not like something you could work up to. You get
Right.
the surgery, and your life changes immediately, and you have to follow certain rules.
Right.
But it was really just it was a couple of years. I mean, my wife had got the surgery, and then I wanted to get it. I wanted the surgery for years before I actually was able to get it. um but most insurance coverage, like my other job, would not cover it. So it was something I just kept putting off, but I wanted to do this years ago. The minute
Right.
my kids were old enough, and I saw the minute I started seeing my own kids struggle with weight problems.
Right.
I'm like, I gotta get something done. So COVID hit. I lost my job. Um, like literally the day I came back from being out with COVID, they told me that we had lost I was working for a trucking company. That was a dedicated account for another company, and we lost the contract. So like literally the day I came back from being out sick with COVID is when I lost my job.
Wow.
Um, so I spent a lot of I ended up finding a job. I work for home health care for one of the major hospitals in the Ohio and world venue. At the height of COVID, but working in respiratory therapy as an oxygen delivery guy. So I was extremely busy. Um,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can understand. I work for a home health
yeah,
care now,
yeah,
and yeah, like watching the oxygen. Like we have an oxygen uh, company within our company.
hmm,
Like, wow,
yeah,
like we were running out of concentrators like every day, and they were begging them
yeah,
for them. And I mean, they just
yeah. I
could
work.
not get concentrators fast enough.
Yeah, the hospital I work for was is large enough. They were actually helping other area hospitals and stuff like that. But at that time, I was still 442 pounds. And I'm like, I got to keep this job because it is paying, but the insurance is amazing. Because it was for a hospital, and I know it's going to cover the surgery.
Right,
So I started right away. Like as soon as I got the job, and I knew they would cover at least the medical weight loss part of that. I had to work there for 2 years before I would was covered for the surgery.
right,
Um, but that was the plan going into this job. I'm like, I found out they covered it. I'm like, I'm gonna work the system, and I'm gonna stay here, and I'm probably gonna retire just because of the insurance alone. Um,
right,
but just like the big thing was when I had kids and I started seeing them kind of have the same struggles
right,
as I did.
right,
And it's not always just the way you eat, it's genetics.
right. Yeah,
Both of my parents were short and heavy set, and their parents were short and heavy set. So it's
right,
like we're kind of screwed on both sides of the family.
right,
So like the blood pressure thing. Like I'm still
right,
on blood pressure pills. Most people who have the surgery are able to get off of them within a couple months afterwards, but mine
right,
still is just high enough where I still have to continue taking them.
right, right,
But my doctor said if you're doing everything you're supposed to, everything else is perfect. You
right,
look healthy. He said it's at this point, I think unfortunately for you, it's just genetics.
right,
So I'm like, "Ah, great." So he's like, you might be on these pills or some variation of pills the rest of your life, but I'll take it because I'm 200 pounds less, and I feel great most of the time. But
right,
like at the end of the day, I'm still hurting because I abused my body for the
right.
first 40 years of my 47 years of existence,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, it was definitely my kids. I mean, that was a very long version of the story, but yeah, definitely
Yeah,
having
but
kids and
you know
seeing
what?
them.
You know what? But you know, I know kids nowadays, like, it's so out there. I mean, I have two boys.
Hmm.
My youngest, I mean, he's a big dude. I always remember the one story. So he's big into wrestling. Bray Wyatt was his favorite wrestler, so his birthday, um, just a few months before Bray Wyatt ended up passing away. Um, he was doing a signing in Michigan, so for his birthday, I brought my son. Even Bray Wyatt looked at my son and go, "Dude, you're gonna make a wrestler someday."
Yeah,
That's how big my youngest
yeah,
is, and but yeah, but I know, I know he got picked on in school because of his
yeah,
size.
yep,
And today, like I said, it's even worse today for the youth than it is when we were in school because it
yeah.
just doesn't stop. Like as soon
It
as the
doesn't
bell
stop at
rings,
school. Yeah,
no, because now there's a social media crap, and they can
yep,
attack you online, and
yeah.
it's like oh,
It would be
it's
just be in our day. It was just between us and the bully, and maybe his
yeah,
friends and our friends.
right,
Now, like the whole school and everybody, every school around the area could see them
right,
bully you online, and
yeah, yeah,
it's
and it's
horrible.
sad, and like I said, I feel real bad, and I just hope that your daughters both know that, you know what, uh, bullies are just people who are scared of their own self, and that's all they
Oh
are.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're not as tough. It's just they pick on everybody because they have insecurities about their own lives, and
hmm,
this is why they take it out on others.
yep,
But at the same time, it's hard to tell that to child because they're like, why is everybody
yeah.
picking on me? So
Teenagers are rough, man. Like I teenagers are hardcore, man. I don't. I
I I
And
can
I
agree with you.
there were days where like, you know what, I miss high school. But now I see what they're going through. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
No, no, no. I really don't miss.
Yeah.
Like yeah, really. I mean, when I think back to school days, I mean, like I said, I met Michael John in fifth grade. We've been friends ever since. But we went to different
Awesome.
high schools.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I stayed in the Catholic system, so I went to a Catholic school.
Yeah.
He got out. He went to what was WD Low, which is like the Protestant school. I don't know
Oh,
if they
okay.
call it that. I don't know if that's your system in the United States. Here, it's Catholic or Protestant. So
We
it
always just said Christian school or Catholic school was always its own thing, and then it was
yeah,
like Bible school or whatever you wanted to call it.
right. But yeah, no, we went to two separate high schools, but we were always friends, and like I said,
Yeah.
it was just one of those. I mean, out of everybody else I went to school with, I mean, he's the only one that I'm still friends with to this day. I mean, I don't think I have a single high school friend. I mean, I might have some on my Facebook list, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like Michael John where I can come up and say, "Hey, dude, let's go hang out. Let's go do shit."
Yeah.
You
Yeah, the
know,
high
eh,
school friends that I still am in contact with are like my brothers, but I didn't really start hanging out with them until like the end of our senior year, and then we just kind of stuck together through most of our early adulthood. We're still our friends are our families are friends. We try to get together every once in a while, but it's definitely not as like the old days when we were like pretty much okay. We got bar night on Thursday, and then Friday night and Sunday we're meeting at Pops for a football game, and then yeah, but yeah,
now, so I want to talk a little bit about your computer monitor behind you. Stop the
yeah,
stigma, and I mean that is a very bold statement, but that's the truth. The truth is so out there. We have to stop the stigma with men's mental health, and
agreed.
uh, it's hard. I mean, every time I tell people my story, I kind of get that look of kind of disdain or weirdness because I'm a guy talking about my feelings.
Yeah,
But it's
right.
something we have to get rid of in this day and
Yeah,
age. I mean, come on, people, we're in the 21st century, okay? It's
yeah.
people
It's
are
it's
allowed
it's
to
it
have feelings, you know. I
right.
just eh, eh, no,
But because we have
you don't have to be gay to have feelings. I'm sorry,
right,
you don't.
yeah. No, it has nothing to do with any of that. It's literally it's been identified as a health illness. It's an illness. There's something not,
Yeah,
it's sometimes it's chemical, sometimes it's just the way the brain functions.
right,
But you know, medically speaking, the your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and they can affect each other. They need to be in sync. They need to be balanced. But you know, if your mental health is off, your physical health is probably not the greatest. I mean, let's be
right,
honest. And it's just like it's about overall health, and um, the stigma has to be broken for sure. And this is something I've been trying to find my niche in as far as being an advocate for men's health. But if I'm just out here talking about it, I feel like I'm doing something. You know what I mean? Um, we have a great group of friends. Yes, it's paranormal, but we talk about these kinds of things
right.
also. Um, and it opens the door for that conversation. And I think it needs to happen. And just because we have a penis and balls doesn't mean we don't have tears flowing from our eyes when we're sad about something, or we can't be just, I don't know, depressed. We can be depressed.
Right. Great.
It's we have to be
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the paranormal community is one of the most supportive communities that are out there. I mean, people just think that we're doing nothing but running around in the dark trying to find ghosts all the time, and that's all we're about. But like you
Yeah,
said, at a lot of these events, when we're done the event for the day and we're all hanging out, we're not talking a lot about ghosts. We're talking about who we are and stuff we're
yeah,
dealing with, and
yeah.
it's
Things
it,
true friends are supposed to be doing, right?
right,
Yeah,
and it's comforting knowing that just as easy as it is for us to talk about our weird stuff like the Bigfoots and the ghost and the unicorn that runs around the world, where
right,
we all think that's normal, other people think we're weird, but at the same time,
right.
we could talk about who we are and what we're
Yeah,
dealing
absolutely.
with, and everybody. It's always at the end of the day, we all give each other a hug and know that we're there for one another. I mean,
Yep.
it's super cool, and this is why I'm very blessed to be a part of the paranormal community, to get to know people like
Yeah.
you, Goose, and we got Donna Roberts on the side. We got fellow lunker Jason Cummins on the side, and his beautiful
Yeah,
wife.
buddy. Yeah.
Like I said, like people, yeah, I mean, like listening to the Tim Shaws and the Franks and the Michael Johns and how the gym has helped their mental health, or even like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dustin Perry too. I mean, he talks about it all the time about how the gym is his mental health.
Oh yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
because you nailed it when you said if your body's not good, your mind's not good, and if your mind's not
Hmm.
good, your body's not doing good. And
Yeah.
yeah, we have to line that up. We have to do something about it. We can't just
Yes.
miraculously think that okay, because I ate a salad today, everything's going to be great, or I went on a 1 hour walk. It's
Right.
consistency, right?
Hmm.
It's doing things sometimes until you make it a habit, because
Yeah.
our bad habits of eating junk food and not
Yeah.
exercising, it was a habit, and
Hmm.
it did make us feel good, and
Yeah.
but then something clicks and goes, you know what, I don't like how I feel, you know people say, oh, you look good, I always think people just say that to be kind to me half the time.
Right. I'm
you know
still like not used to that, especially after losing so much weight. It's like,
right,
oh, you look great. And I'm like, I know if I know I see myself in the mirror. I can see I've lost it, but in my mind, I'm still that 400-pound guy. You know,
You
and
know
it's
what? And that's where the change needs to happen. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
I know the first time I saw you after you had your surgery, I was like, shit, Goose lost his twin brother. Where the fuck? What
Yeah,
happened to
right.
him?
Yeah, and I mean, I love it. The support feels great, but there's just
Yeah,
like there's days though where I'm like, I still feel like that because like I said, I'm still dealing with knee stuff, shoulder
right.
stuff now. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
It messes with your head, dude. It's
Well, yeah,
always like I
but
said.
I mean, yeah, I mean, weight loss, yeah, you find out you have more ailments than you did before when you were heavy
Right. Yeah.
because now
Like
your
I dropped
body's
200 pounds. I'm
lighter.
going to run a marathon now. I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to like start Bigfoot hunting up these mountains and stuff. Like,
Right.
no, you're not. You still need paved trails, buddy. Paved
Paved
flat
straight
trails.
trails. It
Yeah,
might have
right.
a slight
Exactly.
hill, but that's okay. But
Right. As long as there's
no,
handrails, I'm
no,
good.
no, no, no Mount Everest here, dude.
Right.
Um, but no, like I said, mental health, the life changes that you've made is only to help you
Mhm.
to be here with us, or not even us, be there for your family. Like you said, you're doing this for
Yeah.
your family, but you have to kind of do it for yourself too. I mean,
Right.
that's the core of it all, is you have to
Yeah.
be happy with yourself. You have to be happy
Yes.
with
Exactly.
life changes, and that's the only way we're going to get better and be
Right. And you
stronger
can't really
minded.
yeah. Yeah. And you can't be there like you want to for your family if you're not there for yourself. I mean, it's just plain
Right.
and simple. Um yes,
No,
that was
no.
definitely one of the catalysts, but I knew I needed the work anyways. So
Right.
whatever you need to tell yourself to get going on something, it's never really an excuse or a bad idea.
Right.
As long as you get and you stick with it. And I'm not eating the best all the time 100%. I make a mistake,
Uh,
especially at the holidays. I know I'm going to have a cookie. I might have two
you got
deviled eggs.
you got to.
Yeah, right. And even my doctor's like, what? Don't. It's like just don't make a habit of don't just eat cookies for dinner. Just
Right. Yeah.
eat, get your protein, get everything that you need. Have a cookie if you want one, but a cookie, not a dozen. So, but it's just again, that's another mental thing. You got to
Right.
reprogram yourself.
But you got to show up for you each and every day. And I mean, you
Oh
got
yeah,
to do.
absolutely.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, it is an absolute struggle some days. But you know what?
Hmm.
You just got to set the smallest goal for yourself and just
Yeah,
accomplish that goal. You'll feel so much better than everything else. It's like, you know what?
yeah.
And I mean, I know the stigma because I mean, my like I've been around big people all around. I'm not a tiny guy, but
Mhm.
when you look at the other members of my family,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not. But my brother did the same thing. He got the surgery. He's lost weight. He's doing what he had to do, and like, I mean, I take care of my mother, who I love so
Yeah.
much, and she can barely walk because of incidents that happened in her life. But
Mhm.
I always sit there and when we go to eat, and people look at my mother, and I know I can just feel them judging my mother, and it pisses me
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
because you don't know her story. You
Right.
just see her out here eating, and you're like, yeah,
Mhm.
see if she would just eat differently. Anybody ever
Yeah.
saw my mother eat and saw she eats like a freaking bird, like even,
Right.
but it's just the fact that she can't get up to exercise.
Right. Right.
And so, it's the life choices, but people need to stop being so judgmental of people in this world.
Yeah,
And
that's
unless you
I
know the
agree.
story, don't talk. It's
Yeah.
you don't know what people are going through. You don't know why the 400-pound guys, the 400 pounds, like you said, it could be something else. It's
Yeah.
Our bodies are very complex, like
Mhm.
machines, and
Yeah.
anything can make us. Why can a guy eat 50 tacos and not gain a frickin' pound?
Right. Yeah.
Would I love
because
to
that
be that
guy's
guy?
yeah,
Absolutely.
because that guy's Dustin Pari, and he works out like 5 hours a day.
But
No,
see, and that's
oh
it. I mean,
yeah,
if people saw or follow Dustin on social media and see
yeah,
what he eats when he travels,
he's a
they're like,
beast.
"Dude, how do you so
Yeah.
skinny?"
Oh, he's shows he kills me with some of those posts, like because I can't really drink alcohol anymore. So like
Right.
when he shows his Miller High Life with a
Right.
Christmas tree cake from Little Debbie's, I'm like, oh man, I miss
I would
that
kill
diet.
for a little
But
Debbie's.
then like an hour later, he's posting himself doing 5
Yeah.
million pounds of lifting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, no wonder, dude. I wish I
Yeah.
had that kind of that
But you
motivation.
know
But
what?
he's worked on it his whole life.
But to talk to him and to know him, like
Oh yeah.
that's his mental health. That's how he
Yep.
works on his
Exactly.
mental health. He gets in the gym, and I mean the same with Michael John, and
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
with Tim, and these guys go to the gym because and I mean, and like I said, I know when I go to the gym and I'm working out, I walk out of there and I feel like $1,000,000. I feel good. I've done
So do
something,
I.
and
So do
I
I.
love
I
that
feel
feeling.
yeah.
But then it's just like some days I just talk myself out of it. Then I'm like, "Oh, you're a
Yeah.
piece of crap. You're never
Yeah.
gonna be, you're never gonna look as
Yeah.
good as these." But you know what?
It's not about that. Right.
Ultimately, I'm happy with
Yeah.
myself. I've
Yeah.
got my health. I've got air in my lungs. I do
Right.
what I do because that's great. You have to keep yourself focused on doing something, and
Exactly.
I choose to focus on other things. But
Hmm.
like I said, I do enjoy working out. I do enjoy that rush. I try to eat as healthy as I can. You
Yeah.
know, 35% of the time it's not at all healthy. But you know
Right.
what? It's because
Yeah.
I've always learned that if you deny yourself something, you're going to crave it even more, and it's going to make it
Oh
even
yeah.
worse
And it's going to
because you're
get to
going
the
to
point where you
indulge in
binge it.
that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like really trying to like watch myself until the
Right,
holidays, like I know Thanksgiving, but I can't physically eat nearly as much as I used to. Like it
right,
literally it hurts. It's painful.
right,
But yeah, like you said, man. I mean, I love the gym. I do feel great when I'm there and I'm working out, and I feel great at the end, even no matter how much I'm hurting. I will say a lot of the problem with me in the gym though is the other people that are there. Um,
right.
just I just eh, there's people sitting taking up machine space while looking at their cell phones or taking selfies and stuff like that. I mean, I take the occasional selfie, but it's like quick, and I'm back to my workout. But
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
I'm like we're being honest here. I'm extremely impatient, and I got a routine. I want to get done. I want to work it. I want to work hard. I want to be able to move fluently and not walk around looking for the next
Right.
machine that's open. Um,
Yeah.
it's like it's aggravating sometimes, but
Oh,
when I'm
and I
actually
know it
doing it in
always
the
seems like those
process
people are on the machines that you want at that time.
all the
You
time,
know.
and they're just sitting there like laying back on the leg press, like just like
Yeah.
it's a lounge, like a lazy boy,
Yeah.
just checking their messages, talking to their friends. It's like
It's,
move. Then I start
it,
stalking them, just like
uh,
giving them the stink eye.
I can't remember somebody that is on the Facebook group, and I believe it's like one of our close friends too, said that
Yeah,
it could have been Jason there, um, saying that they should create a section in the gym for where guys who just want to go there and sit on a bench and play on their cell phones instead of really working out. You
yeah,
know, but
yeah.
and it's so true. It's just like, and I
If you
mean,
want to take a
I
break, there's a really nice lounge right outside the door of the
yeah,
gym.
why do you have to sit on a piece of equipment? Like,
Right.
go stand
There's
over
even a
somewhere
lounge in
else.
the men's locker room. There's like a nice sitting area with the TV. You can watch football, whatever you want.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And like I said, those are the guys that kill me. Like, go to the
right,
what you don't. You come to the gym just to play, and like your finger is muscular enough. Like, put it
right,
down. Like, yeah. Like I'm like you. It's like I don't even like taking selfies while I'm at the gym because I'm still very insecure about myself. But I do it
right.
just because you know what? I know when I put it out there, I feel good about it because hey,
Yeah,
look at me. It's not
I'm
really hey,
proud.
look at me, look, I'm in the gym,
Yeah,
but it's like
yeah,
hey, I'm working on myself. I'm doing
right.
this. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So, I want that visual proof that, I'm doing this,
Mhm. Yeah, my gym is
because
pretty strict too about like being able like filming yourself, and like they don't want you really taking a whole lot of pictures. It's not like you go on TikTok and these guys are literally just filming their home workout, and
right.
like giving tips and all that kind of stuff. But the occasional quick snap of me on the press, I'm like, okay, I just want people to know I am working hard. I'm
Yeah,
working
I'm
hard,
here, I'm doing it.
and I'm proud of
And no,
myself.
I
Like,
did not just show up here for 5 minutes to take the selfie because I have way better
right?
things to do.
Oh hell yeah, yeah,
Um, so I know we're getting down close to the crunch time.
yeah.
So there's another segment of my show. Now I'm a big I listen to motivational stuff all day long. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I enjoy motivational talks way more than I enjoy music nowadays. And
Oh wow.
there's one that I always listen to, and I'll tell you this, and I picked this out a few days ago, and I wasn't even thinking about it, and then just before I go on the air today, I was like, "Holy shit!" I mean, like this was made this was reads Goose all over this. So
Uh-oh.
I gotta read this out. So, folks,
Okay,
this is the
go for it.
motivational part of my show. I like I said, I love listening to motivationals because struggling with my mental health, I still have to listen to stuff that picks me up and makes me
Oh yeah,
motivated
for
and
sure.
stuff like that. So I love the good motivational talk. So this one is, I see you, bro. Don't give up. I see you, bro. I see all the work you've put in, all the hours. I see the blood, the sweat. I see the tears. You're still here. You're still going. I'm proud of you for that. And if you can stick it out, continue to put in the work, work on yourself. It's all going to come together. And those hard times, they're going to be your story, the story you tell people in the future. Your story, you're going to give hope to so many people. Just keep believing because these people need you to make it so that they can. And dude,
Wow,
you
that's
are
powerful.
definitely that is definitely you to a T. I mean,
I appreciate that.
people in our circle, people that just see you at events, get to
Hmm.
talk to you or see like how much of a change you have done with yourself,
Yeah.
how much brighter your light has gotten over the last couple of years, and like
Oh
ever
yeah,
since, like
absolutely.
I see a whole new Goose compared to when I first met you. And like I said, and
Yeah.
I mean, I love that guy back then. He
Yeah.
was great. He was funny, but you know
Yeah.
what? It's even more awesome to know that you've made some serious life changes. You're putting in the work. You're doing what's best for Goose because Goose wants to stay here and wants to be around and lighten up the rest of the world. And I mean,
Thank
dude,
you.
I cannot say enough. Like,
Appreciate that.
thank you so much for being raw. Thank you for being
Absolutely.
you, and just thank you for shining your light on the world and showing people.
Yeah.
Uh, days are dark, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So,
And
Goose, before I let you go, what give if you have one piece of advice for somebody out there that's struggling with mental illness, weight problems, just anything in life? I mean, what would be one thing you would tell that person?
for me, just what we did today, just find somebody you can talk to and just talk. I mean, bottling it up does nobody any good. It just makes everything that much harder. Um, just be honest. That's probably more important than talking, is just be honest with yourself. You know, let yourself see that you have things that you not really can improve on, but you need to work on.
Right.
Um, be the best. Be the best you can be.
That's right. You always got to be a better version than you were the day before. That's my
Yeah.
goal is to be better than I was yesterday. And every day is like that. And it's because guys like you guys like Michael John, guys like Tim Shaw, Frank.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's guys that are around me, and there's I could list a whole list of people that
Oh
motivate
yeah,
me
for
each and
sure.
every day.
Yep.
Close personal friends that I love so much, and they're the reason why I'm here. And like I've said before, it's the paranormal that saved my life, and I'm so glad
Yep.
that we are here today. We are talking about who we are and why we are, and not being shy about being shy about who we are, because you know what? There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with who we are, because we are humans. We
Yeah.
are great beings. So, before you go, anything you would like to plug before I let you go?
You know what? You guys want to watch, if you're into the paranormal and you want to watch the Cryptic Paranormal Show, we'll be back after the holidays. We're taking a hiatus right now, probably just for our own well-being because we know we're all super busy.
Right,
Um and but yeah, we're just the Cryptic Paranormal Show every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch us on the RU Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels, and the Cryptic Paranormal Facebook page. Other than that, we really haven't started. I haven't started personally planning anything out for 2025. Um, I know there's already a lot of stuff like personally, like with the family coming up, so that's priority. I got to get that all figured out first.
right.
But nothing bad, just all good stuff. But it's going to take up some time. Um, just if you want to watch, if you want to follow me on Reinventing Goose, that's my Facebook page. I feel free to follow along. I'm gonna after the holidays, I'm gonna try to get back posting on that, and I'm actually thinking about launching a TikTok page for that as well. Um, I do have Instagram that follows that, but I'm better with like the videos and the Facebook posts than I am with Instagram. Um, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, man, I'm just happy to be alive, brother.
I'm happy you're alive too, man. Like I said, uh, I'll tell you, everybody out there, thank you for joining me. And thank you to my guests, the
Thank you,
Goose.
man.
This has been another spectacular show. Like I said, this is why we do what we do, and this is what this show is about: being real, being honest, and just living up to your full potential each and every day. And no matter what you do in life, do it to the best of your ability. But like I always say after each and every show, remember, tomorrow needs you. With that, everybody, have a good night. We will see you again next Tuesday when I have a special guest, a guy that I truly love so much. I have the one and the only Dustin Perry coming along. We're going to talk
Awesome.
about his
Be
motivation.
awesome.
I mean, anybody who knows Dustin, that guy is so motivational, and he is out there each and every day. Join me, Michael John,
Yeah.
tomorrow night as on our The Paranormal Voice. We have a show coming your way tomorrow night. We are talking Cody, and we are talking dog man encounters. This
Ooh.
guy's encounter is so, like, I can't even believe. But yes, join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, over on the Paranormal Voice YouTube page. And we stream it live on Instagram as well. So I look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow night alongside with Michael John. In the meantime and in between time, stay happy, everybody. Have a good night.